Welcome back to Eagle Explore. Today, we're diving into a fascinating mystery. Why is Wyoming so much emptier than Colorado? Both states share stunning landscapes, from the majestic Rockies to vast plains, yet their populations couldn't be more different. In this video, we'll explore some of the surprising reasons why more people choose to live in Colorado over Wyoming. From the allure of gold rush history to the bustling tech industry, Colorado has become a magnet for settlers. Meanwhile, those who live in Wyoming enjoy a quieter, more secluded lifestyle. Have you ever wondered why Denver is buzzing with activity while Wyoming's Cheyenne feels like a peaceful escape? Or why Colorado's economy is booming with diverse job opportunities while Wyoming stays rooted in its ranching and mining heritage? Today, we'll uncover these secrets and more. Whether you're considering a move or just curious, you'll find out what makes life in these two states so uniquely different. Have you ever wondered why Wyoming is so much emptier than Colorado, even though they seem almost identical at first glance? These two states are neighbors, and they share a lot of similarities. Both are roughly rectangular, with Colorado being just a bit bigger. They both boast mountainous terrains, thanks to the Rocky Mountains that run through each state, giving them similar geographies. Landlocked in the heart of North America, they also experience similar dry and windy climates with cold, snowy winters. Their water resources are quite comparable, capable of supporting agriculture and communities. The Rocky Mountains act like a giant water tower for North America, with many major rivers starting from the snowmelt high up in the mountains. Colorado is home to the headwaters of the Rio Grande, Arkansas, Colorado, and South Platte rivers, while Wyoming hosts the headwaters of the Missouri, Snake, Columbia, and North Platte rivers. However, Colorado's rivers, such as the Colorado and Rio Grande, flow into more arid areas like Arizona, Nevada, Southern California, New Mexico, and Texas. These downstream states rely heavily on this water and have legal rights to draw more from these rivers, meaning Colorado has to let a lot of its water flow downstream. Similarly, Wyoming has to allow much of its river water to flow downstream, but since its rivers don't continue to as many arid regions as Colorado's do, Wyoming gets to retain more water for itself. This legal setup gives Wyoming access to more freshwater resources compared to Colorado. Despite these similarities and even some advantages, there's one glaring difference: their populations. As of 2023, Wyoming's population is just over 580,000 people, while Colorado is home to more than 5.8 million people, over 10 times more. Given that Colorado is only slightly larger, it ends up being about 9 times as densely populated as Wyoming. Have you ever wondered why Wyoming is so sparsely populated compared to Colorado? Despite their similarities in geography and climate, Wyoming's population density is astonishingly low. With only 2.3 people per square kilometer, Wyoming stands out as one of the most empty places on Earth. For comparison, Wyoming is even less populated than Australia or Namibia, two countries known for their vast, uninhabitable deserts. The only European region with a similar density is Lapland in Finland, which has around 1.8 people per square kilometer. However, Lapland lies within the Arctic Circle, where the harsh 7-month-long winters make low population density expected. In contrast, Wyoming has a much milder climate, yet it remains comparably empty. Hey there, where are you from? I want to know which city you're watching our video from. Please leave a comment so we don't feel lonely. A small action like this will motivate us to make more videos. Thank you, and much love to you. This becomes even more intriguing when you consider Wyoming's status within the United States. Although it is the 10th largest state by area, it has the smallest population by far. Every other state, even the smallest ones like Vermont, Rhode Island, and Delaware, has a significantly larger population. There are 119 counties across the country that have more residents than Wyoming, including Tulsa County in Oklahoma. Furthermore, 29 cities in the U.S. have larger populations than the entire state of Wyoming, with Memphis, Tennessee being the smallest of these cities. The mayors of these 29 cities oversee more people than the governor of Wyoming. Wyoming's sparse population means it doesn't have any true cities. Its largest urban areas are more like towns. Only 4 towns in the entire state have populations exceeding 30,000. This is in stark contrast to other sparsely populated regions worldwide, which usually have at least one major city. For example, Alaska has Anchorage, Namibia has Windhoek, and Mongolia has Ulaanbaatar. Wyoming's largest town, Cheyenne, has just 63,000 residents, comparable to Santa Cruz, California, which ranks as the 143rd largest city in that state. The reasons behind Wyoming's low population are multifaceted. Despite having ample natural resources and a similar climate to Colorado, it lacks the large urban centers that attract and sustain higher populations. Historically, economic opportunities in Wyoming have been limited compared to those in Colorado, leading to fewer people settling there. Additionally, the rugged terrain and remote location make it less accessible, further contributing to its sparse population. Cheyenne, Wyoming's largest town, is barely within the state, located in the far southeastern corner, less than 10 miles from the Colorado border. It's just a 50-minute drive to Fort Collins, Colorado's fourth largest city, which is 3 times bigger than Cheyenne. Additionally, it's only a 1 hour and 45-minute drive to Denver, Colorado's capital and largest city. This proximity means that Cheyenne and many other towns in Wyoming often function more as satellites of Colorado, from both transportation and economic perspectives. In stark contrast, Colorado's population is significantly larger, with over 5.8 million residents. Colorado alone makes up nearly 40% of the population of the 6 Rocky Mountain states in the U.S. Denver, the largest metropolitan area in the Rockies, has a metro-wide population of nearly 3 million people, which alone dwarfs Wyoming's entire population. Interestingly, Denver's massive size is quite isolated, as there are no comparable population centers nearby. The closest city of similar size is El Paso, Texas, about 560 miles away, a distance comparable to that between London and Milan. This 560-mile radius makes Denver the most isolated of America's top 30 largest cities. Given the vast differences in population between Colorado and Wyoming, despite their geographic, geologic, hydrologic, and environmental similarities, it raises an intriguing question. Why did these 2 states, so similar in many ways, diverge so dramatically in their population destinies? The answer lies in their histories. Colorado's higher population can be traced back to its early attraction of American settlers. In 1858, gold was discovered in the mountains along the South Platte River in what would become Colorado, sparking a gold rush that drew thousands of settlers to the territory. Wyoming's mountains, on the other hand, didn't have the same abundance of gold and silver, leading to fewer early settlers. This initial difference set the stage for Colorado's rapid population growth compared to Wyoming. This video may have occasionally appeared critical of Wyoming, but my intention was never to disparage the state. All right, if you're new to this channel, Hayden warmly welcomes you. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on the notification bell to catch our upcoming content. Colorado's subsequent discoveries of resources like copper, lead, and coal continued to attract more miners and settlers, further boosting its population. This rapid growth eventually led Colorado to statehood in 1876, a full 14 years before Wyoming achieved the same status in 1890. By the turn of the 20th century, Colorado's population had surged to 539,000 due to the mining and agricultural booms. Interestingly, this figure is comparable to Wyoming's population today, more than a century later. However, back in 1900, Wyoming had a population of only 92,000, which was much closer to Colorado's population at the time than it is now. Over the next 120 years, Colorado's population growth continued to outpace Wyoming's, with Colorado's population multiplying by over 10 times, while Wyoming's only grew by a bit more than 6 times its 1900 figure. Several factors contributed to this divergent growth. First, Colorado is generally easier to settle due to its larger expanses of flat land suitable for development. A topographical map of the 2 states highlights this difference clearly. Wyoming's borders encompass more of the Rocky Mountains compared to Colorado. The Great Plains stretch across only the eastern third of Wyoming, whereas they cover about 40% of eastern Colorado. Cheyenne, Wyoming's capital and largest town, is situated on the plains at the foothills of the Rockies, similar to major cities in Colorado, like Fort Collins, Denver, Colorado Springs, and Pueblo. These towns provided easy access to both states' early primary industries, mining and resource extraction in the mountains to the west and agriculture in the plains to the east. both of which could be exported via railway. However, the plains around Cheyenne are much narrower than the plains along Colorado's Front Range, which lie between the Rockies and the Kansas-Nebraska borders. This meant that Colorado's farms and cities had more room to expand. Additionally, being located further south, Colorado's cities enjoy moderately warmer temperatures year-round, making them more attractive for settlement and agriculture. Furthermore, Colorado's geographical advantages were complemented by its economic and industrial development. Denver, as the state's capital and largest city, became a central hub for commerce and transportation. The city's strategic location along major railroads and highways facilitated the flow of goods and people, fostering economic growth and urban development. The presence of higher education institutions and a more diversified economy also played significant roles in attracting and retaining residents. On the other hand, Wyoming's economic growth faced limitations due to its more rugged terrain and harsher climate. While it did experience some mining booms, the scale and duration were not comparable to Colorado's. Wyoming's economic opportunities remained more focused on industries like ranching and energy extraction, which did not support large population centers in the same way. As a result, Colorado developed a more diversified and resilient economy, which continued to attract new residents and businesses. This ongoing influx of people fueled further economic growth and urbanization, creating a positive feedback loop. Conversely, Wyoming's growth stagnated as it struggled to diversify its economy and attract large-scale settlement. Nonetheless, both Colorado and Wyoming saw high rates of population growth in their early years as miners flocked to each state seeking fortune. However, while Wyoming has experienced decades of stagnant or even negative population growth, Colorado has never had a decade of slow population growth since its founding as a state. This difference is partly because Colorado began diversifying its economy away from just mining and agriculture, starting in the 1940s. During World War II, the U.S. federal government became increasingly concerned about potential enemy attacks on the American coasts and began relocating federal offices and administrations further into the North American interior for better protection. Colorado's central location within North America and its accessibility by rail made it an ideal candidate for these federal relocations. By the end of the 1940s, Colorado had more federal government offices than anywhere else in the country outside of Washington, D.C. During the Cold War, Colorado's role as a federal hub grew even more significant. Several key federal entities established their headquarters in the state, such as the Air Force Academy and NORAD in Colorado Springs, NOAA and NCAR in Boulder, and the U.S. Geological Survey in Denver. These relocations brought thousands of government employees and their families to Colorado, significantly diversifying the state's economy beyond mining and agriculture, a shift that never fully occurred in Wyoming. Despite this influx of federal employees to Colorado, the federal government owns a larger proportion of Wyoming's land than it does of Colorado's. In fact, 48% of Wyoming's total land area is federally owned. Much of this land is dedicated to national and state parks like Yellowstone and Grand Teton, which collectively generate nearly $1 billion annually in tourism revenue for the state. However, this revenue does not significantly contribute to growth or industrial development. In contrast, only 36% of Colorado's land is federally owned, making more land available for settlement and development. This ultimately means there's only about 51,000 square miles within Wyoming available for private ownership compared to more than 66,000 square miles in Colorado. That 15,000 square mile difference is significant, larger than the combined area of Maryland and Delaware. As more people moved to Colorado for better job opportunities and an appealing outdoor lifestyle, it created a positive feedback loop, further diversifying Colorado's economy compared to Wyoming's. Colorado's strategic location made it a prime hub for the telecom industry in the 1990s. Denver's position on the 105th meridian west and its elevation of more than 1 mile above sea level make it the largest city in the U.S. capable of providing a one-bounce real-time satellite uplink to all 6 inhabited continents during the same business day. Additionally, its location in the Mountain Time Zone facilitates communication with both U.S. coasts, South America, Europe, and Asia within the same business day. These advantages attracted major telecom companies like Comcast, Dish Network, and Qwest to establish significant operations and headquarters around Denver. Today, Colorado hosts 10 Fortune 500 company headquarters, whereas Wyoming has none. The educational opportunities in Colorado also outshine those in Wyoming. Colorado boasts 42 public four-year colleges and universities with a student population over 23 times that of Wyoming, which only has a single public four-year university in a town of just 32,000 people. This strong educational foundation and the concentration of federal offices related to aviation and aerospace have fostered one of the highest concentrations of private aerospace industries in North America in Colorado. Several major aerospace companies have established their headquarters in Colorado, such as Ball Corporation and Maxar Technologies. Other aerospace giants like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, L3Harris, and Northrop Grumman have significant operations in the state, collectively employing over 240,000 Coloradans. This makes Colorado home to the largest private aerospace economy per capita in the U.S. The booming aerospace sector, along with Colorado's central location, contributed to the development of Denver International Airport in 1995. Denver International Airport has since become one of the most crucial airports globally. In both 2021 and 2022, it was ranked as the third busiest airport in the world and the third busiest in the U.S. by passenger traffic, trailing only Atlanta and Dallas-Fort Worth. Denver International's importance extends beyond passenger traffic. It is also a major hub for cargo and logistics, further cementing Colorado's strategic economic position. The presence of these industries and infrastructure has made Colorado a magnet for a highly skilled workforce, fostering innovation and economic growth. By contrast, Wyoming's more limited economic opportunities and federal land ownership have constrained its population and economic development. Thus, while both states share many geographic similarities, their divergent historical and economic paths have led to Colorado becoming a densely populated and economically diverse state, while Wyoming remains one of the least populated and economically specialized states in the U.S. Part of the reason for Denver International Airport's prominence is its central location within North America, which allows for easy flight connections or transfers to almost any part of the continent. The airport offers more than 215 non-stop global destinations across both Americas, Europe, and Asia, and it serves as a major hub for United, Southwest, and Frontier Airlines. As Colorado's advantages continued to grow, it became increasingly difficult for Wyoming to compete. Wyoming's largest airport has only 2 scheduled passenger routes, to Salt Lake City and Denver, while the regional airport in Wyoming's capital and largest town, Cheyenne, offers scheduled flights exclusively to Denver. From a transportation perspective, Wyoming's towns essentially function as satellites of Colorado, since traveling out of them often necessitates flights into Denver first, with few alternatives available. This dependency highlights the stark contrast between Colorado's well-diversified 21st century economy and Wyoming's economy, which has largely remained the same for over a century. Wyoming's economy is still dominated by the mining and ranching industries and has seen growth in tourism due to its stunning scenery and outdoor recreation opportunities. However, Colorado boasts all these industries and more. This diversification makes Wyoming far more vulnerable to boom and bust cycles and fluctuations in global prices for minerals, coal, oil, gas, and agricultural products. When resource prices are high, Wyoming thrives. But when prices drop, the state's economy suffers significantly. This volatility is reflected in Wyoming's demographics and growth rates. During the 1970s, for instance, when oil prices surged, Wyoming's population boomed as tens of thousands of workers flocked to the state seeking jobs in the oil industry. But in the 1980s, when global oil prices plummeted, Wyoming's economy was hit hard, resulting in negative population growth as more people left the state than arrived or were born. In contrast, Colorado's diversified economy continued to grow during this period. Wyoming experienced modest population growth as oil prices rose again in the 1990s and 2000s, but growth stagnated throughout the 2010s. The emergence of the fracking industry in the U.S. drew much of the oil industry's capital and labor to newer, more cost-effective boomtowns in Texas and North Dakota, further sidelining Wyoming. Thus, Wyoming's economy, with its heavy reliance on global prices and lack of diversification, experiences significant population fluctuations from explosive growth to stagnation across decades. In contrast, Colorado's highly diversified economies have consistently maintained robust population growth every decade for over a century and a half. This contrast is evident in the origins of each state's population. Colorado has never had a majority of its population born within the state. As of 2023, approximately 56% of Colorado residents were born outside the state. Conversely, Wyoming sees about two-thirds of its population born within the state. Historically, Wyoming has attracted far fewer migrants compared to Colorado. Presently, living in Colorado offers all the benefits of Wyoming's natural beauty and outdoor activities, but with fewer drawbacks. Both states boast stunning landscapes, low taxes, and low crime rates. However, Colorado offers more job opportunities, urban amenities, and cultural activities that Wyoming simply cannot match. For instance, even the third largest town in Wyoming has just one movie theater, and residents often face long drives to access basic amenities like shopping and entertainment. In contrast, Denver, located next to the Rockies, provides easy access to both urban amenities and outdoor recreation, complemented by the extensive services of its international airport. Denver's major airport plays a crucial role in Colorado's connectivity, making it easier for businesses and individuals to travel to and from the state. This accessibility further boosts Colorado's appeal for both tourism and business. Looking ahead, Colorado's population is projected to nearly double by 2050, driven largely by migration from states like California and Texas. In contrast, Wyoming's future population growth remains uncertain, although for many residents, the state's quieter lifestyle and natural beauty continue to hold appeal. This video may have occasionally appeared critical of Wyoming, but my intention was never to disparage the state. Wyoming holds a unique place in the hearts of its residents as the last frontier within the contiguous United States. It represents a vast expanse of untouched wilderness that evokes a sense of the Wild West era, offering spectacular natural beauty and solitude rarely found elsewhere. Wyoming's appeal lies in its rugged landscapes, where one can wander for miles without encountering another soul, amidst harsh yet serene conditions of dryness, wind, and cold. It stands as a quiet sanctuary, far removed from the bustling pace of mainstream American life and capitalism. For many Wyomingites, this lifestyle is precisely what they cherish and wish to preserve. It attracts individuals who value adventure, tranquility, and a close connection to nature. Unlike its more populous neighbors, Wyoming's residents may not aspire for their state to replicate the rapid growth and urbanization seen in places like Colorado. Therefore, despite the economic and demographic contrasts discussed in this video, Wyoming is likely to retain its status as America's least populated state for years to come. Its allure lies in its untamed wilderness and the unique way of life it offers, making it a cherished frontier in the modern American landscape.